Hi, I'm Melinda Rose, and this is a special edition of Light Matters filmed live at SPIE BIOS and Photonics West 2013. Power Technology announced last week that it acquired diode pump solid-state laser maker Klastech of Germany. I spoke with Power Technology co-owner Walter Burgess about the deal and what it means for clients of both companies.
Their product line is very complementary to our own. We have made single frequency lasers from diode sources for a number of years, and we were able to add their diode pump solid state single frequency lasers to our product line. And it's a very unique product. There's only a couple of competitors in the market that can produce 1.5 watts of single frequency light, and so we think it's very complementary.
And when might we see a combined product perhaps hitting the market?
We're looking for some new products in the next 6 to 12 months. We're pretty confident that we can serve the Raman market with 1064 and 532 with existing products, and we'd like to see a 785 nanometer version come out in the next 6 to 12 months.
And what is the reaction you're getting from customers to your news?
Well, customers are very supportive. They see that Power Technology is a 44-year-old laser manufacturing company. They're very happy with the stability and the breadth of manufacturing skill that we bring to Klastech. So they're very excited.
There's been a lot of consolidation in the industry this past year and for the last few years, and I expect we'll be hearing about other M&As in the months to come. My co-host Laura Marshall interviewed Adrian Wilson of Element 6, a member of the well-known De Beers Group. He stopped by our booth at Photonics West to talk about their synthetic diamond technology.
There's really two aspects of diamond that make it very interesting. The first aspect is it has a very broad transmission spectrum, so that it will actually transmit energy all the way from ultraviolet through to RF. So for many photonics applications, it does provide a single solution really for all those very broad wavelengths. The second thing that it does is it also has the highest thermal conductivity of any material at room temperature. So as a consequence, what you can do with diamond is you can actually manage very, very high powers. So for example, in a high power laser system, you can now go beyond what has traditionally been some of the limits of windows around the 8 kilowatts to go way beyond to 20, 40, even 60 kilowatts. And so by having that very broad transmission, or that very broad spectrum, you get very little absorption. But any absorption that does occur can be spread very quickly to a heat sink because of its very, very high thermal conductivity. And what we have on the show today is actually an example of the world's largest polycrystalline diamond window. Okay, this is about 135 millimeters in diameter, and as you can see, it's visually transparent. Okay, very, very high purity. And so that's one of the great advantages that we have within Element 6, since we've been growing this type of diamond for over 20 years. And we've developed the capability to produce this diamond at extremely high purity. We also have the ability to tailor the diamond to specific applications. So if we look outside of the laser optics application, we also produce single crystal prisms for infrared spectroscopy. Some other areas that we cover because of its thermal properties is in the semiconductor space, where we use different grades of diamond to help reduce the operating temperature of semiconductor devices. So if you look at the application of laser diodes, what we're able to do in that application is by using diamond, we can reduce the operating temperature of a laser diode and thus be able to remove the heat spot and improve the reliability of the device. In fact, some of our customers have seen an improvement or reduction in operating temperature of up to 30 degrees C.
That's great. Yes, so how long have you had this particular diamond? Is this new for the show?
What's new for the show is actually our Santa Clara facility. We've now moved over our polycrystalline synthetic diamond capacity over to Santa Clara, and we've actually increased our overall capacity by about 50%. And that's in anticipation of the very rapid growth that we're actually seeing today in terms of our optical applications and the anticipated growth as this technology is adopted, for example, in EUV lithography.
Adrian told us that they have had a lot of interest in their synthetic diamonds at the show this year. Laura also spoke with Jeff nestle-patt of GT Advanced Technologies about his company's Sapphire Coatings for optics.
So I have my standard issue iPhone 5 from a very large brand manufacturer just down the road a little ways from where we are here today. And I'm taking out my handy dandy little screen cleaner. And I'm also going to take out, in my pocket I have a standard issue parking lot rock, okay? And if you don't mind, I'm going to actually ask you
Ask me.
to do the demonstration, and I'll be glad to hold the microphone
Trade you.
while we do this. So what I'd like you to do is, I'll just turn that on a little bit, get a picture on there, is take that rock and try to just, mind you, this is the only cell phone I have in the world, so I just want that to be known. So go ahead and try to scratch that material.
Scratch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, put some good old, get some
effort
elbow grease
into
going
it,
there, Yeah, just kind of scratch away hard as you can.
Right.
And you can do that all day
scratch it a
long, actually, and nothing is going to happen. So the question you're probably asking you is, so what's going on with this phone and why is it not scratching? Well, the reason is it has a piece of sapphire crystal placed on top of the Gorilla Glass of the iPhone. And this is the newest and greatest thing from GT. This is a new marketing program that we're launching to look for new market opportunities that can take advantage of some of the properties that we all know are inherent to Saphire, being it's a very durable, very scratch resistant, very hard material. On the Mohs scale, it's the number 9 on the hit list. And number 10 is a diamond. So the only thing that's really harder, if you will, than a sapphire crystal is a diamond crystal. And we think that is a great opportunity for looking at applications that require a very hard, durable surface, particularly for touch and cover screen type applications. One of the complaints that a lot of people have about cover screen material is that it breaks. And I don't know about you and your experience, but I've had many of my colleagues and my own family included who have been using their device of choice, and it breaks, right? So we think that the value proposition for Saphire is quite compelling, and we're in the process of developing and rolling that whole value proposition out into the marketplace.
So the product that you guys are making, is that for smartphones? Is there any other applications for that?
There are a lot of applications, and truthfully, the smartphone opportunity is probably not the primary one that we're targeting today. You can imagine that, I think Apple just announced last quarter they sold, I don't know how many millions of smartphones, but iPhones rather. We could not supply that volume today, right? But as we build up the value of the supply chain, that's something we can look down, for future opportunities. So we're looking at segments that are lower volume and are maybe a little bit less price sensitive, because today the cost of Saphire, as you probably know, is still a 3 to 4x factor above what is the common material, which is Gorilla Glass, which is the metric that everybody measures you by, right?
But it's less than diamond.
Much less than diamonds, yes, thank you. That's right, that's true. So there are opportunities that we believe exist, and that we are in the process of talking to today, that will establish the material in the market segment, but then we can grow from there. And so as we go forward in time, we do think that at some point smartphone cover screens and so forth with Saphire on them is a very likely possibility.
And so what are the current applications, if you will?
Well, the current applications look at things like point of sale device, point of purchase type devices that have I don't know about you, but when you go to your local grocery store and you're in the checkout line, and I always try to go into the automated line now, and I can't tell you how frustrating it is when you get up to that and you have to swipe your loaf of bread 4 or 5 times until the device actually reads it, right? So Saphire, again, as you know, is such a durable, strong product. You can't scratch it. Just clean it off with a little rag once in a while, and it should perform very, very optimally. So we're talking to point-of-purchase display manufacturers. Other segments include folks that are doing repair on broken devices. There's an opportunity for us to look at that segment as well. Again, lower volumes, right? And it's a way for a brand owner to even establish like a premium replacement brand with a material that will not break. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Great. Thanks so much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Laura. All right.
Well, that sounds like a fantastic idea for smartphone screens, and I'm pretty sure it's just scratching the surface for applications in harsh environments. Towards the end of the show, I got the official figures for Photonics West 2013 when I spoke with Peter Hallett, Director of Marketing and Industry Relations for SPIE.
There were over 20,700 attendees registered for the conference, which is a new high. So what I'm seeing on the floor and that I'm seeing in the conference rooms and the plenary sessions it looks really, really good.
And you've hosted a number of industry events this week, and what is the mood among the exhibitors?
I think the exhibitors are quite happy. The traffic flow has been strong continuously, and we have a bookstore halfway between the halls, and one of my colleagues said the flow between the halls never had a lull. So there's a lot of people in the building. People are attracted to come to the papers. Of course, the technical conference is at an all-time high this year, 4,500 technical papers. There's 18 different plenaries, really remarkable speakers. The BIOS Hot Topics on Saturday night were terrific, very enlightening. And then of course there's a lot of short courses. There's 70 different courses people can take for professional development. So that whole package, I think, makes Photonics West really the greatest place to be this week. The other element that's really terrific this year was the Startup Challenge, which was a way for pre-revenue companies to pitch new ideas, often coming from a university or a lab environment. And Genoptic was lead sponsor and helped provide some serious cash so that we could give these young people an opportunity to practice their pitch and earn. The top winner got $10,000. And then of course that pitch competition led to the Prism Awards for Photonics Innovation. Working with you on that was fantastic, and I think the ceremony was well received, and many of the award winners were absolutely delighted with the recognition they received.
Yeah, some of the award winners were from startups from universities like Tag Optics, and yeah, it's nice to see them, their ideas become commercialized and not just languish on the shelf.
Yeah, I think one of the key things is when people come together at a place like Photonics West, ideas start to create sparks, whether that's for a new business or a new way to solve a problem, or you bump into somebody and he introduces you to someone else, and possibilities emerge that would never happen if you were just sitting in your office.
Great, well, and now you're off to the Advanced Lithography show next, and then Defense and Security?
Yes, that's right, and it's a little far out to see what's going to happen with the defense budgets with all the federal government, but the Advanced Lithography event is looking up. The number of attendees and exhibitors is up this year as well. So we're very optimistic, and kicking the year off with Photonics West is a great start.
Great, well, thank you very much for stopping by.
Happy to see you.
It's been really interesting to watch the steady growth of Photonics West in the last few years as it moved from San Jose to San Francisco. I spoke to several exhibitors this year with not so fond memories of having booths in the tents at San Jose. Peter just mentioned SPIE and Photonics Media's partnership in the Prism Awards for Photonics Innovation, and the day after the 2013 ceremony, Christian Theriault, founder and CEO of Tag Optics, stopped by to talk about his company's unique adaptive optics technology, winner in the optics and optical components category.
So what we have is a really neat way to focus light. So the idea here is that if you look at the lensing equation, there's really two ways of doing it. And the way that's been done basically for 400 years, ever since Galileo really invented the world's first telescope, has been by basically moving optics around in order to basically change the spot size, change the focal length and all. Now, what my technical co-founder discovered a couple of years back at Princeton University was that he could actually go ahead and control the way that sound waves interact with each other inside of a liquid to create a tunable grin lens. So it's a little bit like a AOM meets a liquid lens, and basically all of a sudden, by having different geometries, you actually go ahead and create a perfect parabola, which in our case basically goes from fully converging to infinity to fully diverging and back. And since we're using sound to basically shape the light, that allows us to actually do it in speeds that are from 70 kilohertz to 700 kilohertz and even higher than that. Now the trick parts are, there's a lot of little intricacies going on, of course, and the trick is that each different resonance frequency will have different properties. So we can basically, in one general device, the tag lens, we actually have several lenses within it where we can have different spot size, or I should say different effective aperture, which that have also different optical powers for each of them.
And this technology came out of Princeton University?
Yes, so we basically spun it out 2 years ago. So the original research was actually done in 2007, and then Craig actually worked really hard on really developing the physics behind it. And once he had the physics behind it, he actually went ahead and we met up one day, and basically that was right before the Photonics West of 2011. We decided to start a company, came to Photonics West, found a couple of very early on customers, and really we were able to actually bring the device from a really prototype, bulky thing that really required a PhD to run it to something right here that is very compact, very simple to operate, and it's really a good generalist device.
Well, it's not bad for a year-old company or a 2-year-old company to win a Prism Award.
Yes, we're clearly ecstatic about the fact that we won. We were hoping, of course, that we would win, but it was still a shock. It was still a very big surprise. And we really take it as a validation of our technology and also of just the whole effort. Again, right, given that we had to really translate the technology from lab to market, which is what a lot of people, a lot of startup companies hope to do, and we're very happy that we're able to actually achieve that.
Well, congratulations again, and
thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
It's always fun to talk to someone who just won. We shot videos with all the winners and finalists for this year, and they will be posted on Photonics.com in the weeks to come. That's it for this special edition of Light Matters. As always, you can contact us at lightmatters@photonics.com. Thanks for watching, and Laura and I will be back next week.
Thank you.